podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Two topics, training continuum and a mental health continuum. The both is a spectrum where you operate daily. Welcome to another episode of Anxious Black Belt, a podcast that focuses on karate and mental health and everything in between. Today I would like to look into two topics, the training continuum and a mental health continuum. The both is a spectrum where you operate daily through your actions and whatever happening on the mats, whatever happening in your life. You're going to be travel between the two extremities, so very low, very high. And both can impact each other. So if you're on a training, whatever you do, jiu-jitsu, striking, throwing, takedowns, whatever you're training, is it a judo, is it a karate, is it a jiu-jitsu, boxing, whatever, you're going to experience highs and lows. And sometimes you're going on the mats and it feels like you are invincible. You can take anybody, you're winning all the sparring, everything is superb, you're feeling really energized. This is your day, you're the champion, you're the winner, and everything goes excellent. And next day you can come to the mats and then you're getting smashed, thrown about, punched about, and nothing goes your way. And then suddenly you're starting to get really down about it. It's like, oh shit, I'm really bad at it. Everybody's winning with me. I'm meant to be that top person if you're holding a higher rank, and then the youngsters coming in and leaving the lights out of you. So it's going ups and downs, and same in life. One day everything falls in, the plan goes like you wanted, everything is a success. You're walking on the street, you're finding money, you manage to solve the problem, the car works fine, kids behaving, and you think you're at top of the world, everything is happy. And the next day, completely opposite, something happens, you get a bad news, a member of your family might be ill, your dog's playing about, destroy whole your flat or something like that, and nothing goes your way, and then you're feeling that really, really down, and everything's dragging you down, and you think, oh, it's end of the world, it cannot be any worse, and stuff like that. So in those two spaces, we kind of float in between those extremities. For mental health, it is the key how you dealing with those situations. Because if you're going to be all the time on a high, you get tired, you get overwhelmed, and everything that goes wrong way, even the little things, can make you really, really upset. Again, if you're on that lower end all the time, you drifting into depression, you see everything in negative, and even those moments of happiness don't bring you joy. You're just thinking about those negative aspects of your life. So it's very important to be able to deal with those things and keep the happy medium. It's fine to go into the super happy stage, and it's fine to go into the negative zone. They both are key essential parts of building resilience and joy in your life, but how you manage those, especially those on the lower end, is the definition of your mental health. So if you can deal with those situations being thrown at you by life, then you've got a positive mental health and good mental health. If you're getting overwhelmed and kind of dragged into down, there might be something that you look. But again, as it's a continuum, people are in different places as their base. Some people are naturally more happy, other people are naturally a bit more pessimistic. It depends on your mental setup, your hormone levels, and so on. So it's a very broad topic. But in general, how you deal with those negative aspects of life dictates your mental well-being. And the same in the mats, because you lost a match or a few matches during the day because something happened on the mat, you couldn't do the technique or whatever, doesn't mean that you are not a good martial artist. And it's easier on the mats, I think, than in life to be in that happy medium. and understand that through training you can minimize the amount of the bad happening to you, losing matches. If you put the effort, then you're moving up on that spectrum towards the more positive side, where you're getting better, your techniques are better, your skills are getting better, and you can fight, handle yourself, and more often you are on that positive than in a negative. And through that experience of the training, where you keep showing up and taking control over that negative side and slowly building up with the blocks like techniques, sparring, mental take on things, visualization, whatever tools you've got with your coach and the support, you building up towards the positive. So I'm very good martial artist. I can handle myself. I can win the sparrings, and I can see that those negative aspects can happen, but I am in a positive. You look back, you see all the belts you achieved or grades you achieved, and you can say, yes, I was on that negative side, but I built myself up step by step by step towards that positive. And although I might have one negative day, it doesn't drive me back to the bottom. I'm just staying level. It's just one bad day or one bad technique or whatever, one bad match, whatever happened that negative that day, and you can kind of rationalize it that it is not end of the world, which is what is difficult. It's in the life to see that it is pretty much the same. You've been through your life. For myself, it's 45 years. There have been negative stuff, but slowly with use of martial arts, that kind of overcoming the obstacles and driving towards the better mental health um, happened, right? It's just become a habit of overcoming things and keeping myself in a positive. So, of course, negative happens very often, but how you look at it and how you deal with it is important. And the martial arts training is one of the best tools, in my opinion, to give you that ability to see that showing up, doing stuff every time, trying a little bit better, can build on and move you from the very negative space towards the positive space. What are we lacking in life, in mental health? Is the ability to go out and reach for help, right? It's very normal in martial arts that you ask your coach for help. You've got a team behind you who supports you. Especially for men, it's very difficult in the private space to say to your friends, "Hey, I'm really struggling. I'm afraid of this. I'm depressed about this. I need to go to doctor and see this." Yesterday I've been reading the BBC article that the third of men will not go to doctors till they're nearly dying because of the fear of seeing them being weak, cannot handle stuff, and in general don't be perceived as somebody who is kind of not able to take care of things. So for us men, especially in martial arts, it is nice to show your other friends and students that you can talk about mental health, and you can show them how it can be done, and you can ask for your friends. That's why you've got a group of training together, your friends. You can go to the pub, you can go for a training, you can come to open mat like we do, and we've got open mat when everybody can come in and talk about anything. It's a safe space that men and women can talk about everything, train, sort out the problems in their life, to the degree that obviously we can help. But if there is something deeper like depression or bipolar or some other things happening, then we can advise people as well. Listen, maybe you should go and check it out. And I wish that that happened to me when I was younger, and people said to me, hey, this is not quite as it should be, and you should go and seek help. I managed to overcome it with the martial arts without help, but there was a lot of coaching and building up my confidence through the martial arts, going through that belts, going to the competitions, going to the displays, and being challenged with very unfamiliar situation, and seeing that the negative experience today might not be as bad next day, and the in a year's time, I'll look at those things that happened and they'll be normal, right? Coming for me to the competition, it was super stressful. I thought all about being embarrassed and how belittled I'm going to be when I'm going to lose that fight. 20 years later, there's no problem for me going out to the competitions, having fun. And hey ho, I started winning because my mindset changed. I'm focused on the fighting instead of what people thinking. And the same happens to a lot of people who I talk from our projects who's looking for work. They thinking that I'm gonna be in work, let's say in a restaurant, and I'm gonna do things wrong, and then people gonna be telling me off, and they're gonna be laughing at me. I'm gonna be embarrassed. If you focus on the job instead of on what might happen, you're gonna get better results. With time, your focus can be on the place here, right now, instead of on what if. Um, and I speak with that with my son. I started to, I try to prevent him to be going into the same anxieties that I was. My dad didn't spend enough time with me telling me this stuff, so I spend a lot of time with my kids telling them that, don't worry about what ifs, focus, have that mindfulness, have that meditation. You're going for examination, focus how you're gonna win, how it's gonna feel, what benefits you're gonna have, instead of wasting time and energy and the brain power on thinking, oh, how bad I'm gonna be, what's gonna happen, what happens if somebody comes in, what happens if I'm gonna be late. It doesn't matter. Focus on the task you've got ahead of yourself. If it's getting fitter, focus on this. Don't worry what people in the gym gonna say. Don't worry what's happened if you miss their session or something like that. Just think of the outcome and follow it and turn up, show up, train. Through that habits, your life overall gonna get better. You're gonna create a habit of overcoming obstacles, being a winner, and dominating life. That doesn't mean that the bad thing's gonna go away. It's gonna be still there. It's gonna be happening. We all have got the bad days, but you're gonna be better equipped to deal with it. You're gonna have more resilience. You're gonna have more toughness, ruggedness, and you will be able to go through it, rebuild yourself, achieve your goals, do whatever you want, and be happy, hopefully. Obviously, it is easier said than done, and you can reach out to different organizations for help. They can help you. You can attend to training, speak to the coaches. Everybody around is willing to help you if you ask. If you don't ask, just like martial arts, you're going to be stuck with your own, and you don't know what you don't know, and people seeing things from the outside the box can help you, give you advice. You just have to be open to take it and show up to do the job. Unfortunately, there is no shortcut, and you need to do the work yourself to achieve anything. That's the simple truth. Well, that took me on a tangent. We started with the Continuum and ended up with self-help. I hope you enjoyed this one. This one is with my new equipment. So I've been sent a earbuds by the company S23 and ASIC sound. Yeah, and they're quite good. I don't have a pain around my head during the recording with my old Sony headphones. Quality is okay. If you want to check them out, the link in the description below or in the show notes if you're just listening. I hope they're going to be working. Quality of the sound is acceptable for the price, so no complaints there. Nicely connecting to everything, so I'm going to be using them more. I decided to use my normal background, so I'm hiding here in my son's bedroom because my wife took over the office and recording in his room. So you've got all the posters behind me, Lego, Ninjago, and yeah. So I think this looks more natural than a Zoom cutting out. So I'm gonna stick to that. See what happens. I'm sure there will be some people upset, but hey ho. Well done for listening to all of it. You are a superhero. Thank you very much for your support. And if you could leave us that review on a podcast platform, that would be amazing. I appreciate your time, appreciate your support, and I wish you all the best until the next one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hey, Kristen, how's it tracking?
With Carvana Value Tracker.
What else?
Oh, it's tracking. In fact, Value Surge Alert trucks up 2.5%. Vans down 1.7.
Just as predicted. So, we gonna...
I don't know. Could sell, could hold.
The power to always know our car's worth.
Exhilarating, isn't it?
Tracking.
Always know your car's worth with Carvana Value Tracker.